خب سلام عرض میکنم خدمت دوستان. احتمالا یه بخشی از شما من رو نمیشناسید. من عربزاده هستم، هم بنیانگذار و مدیر فروش و حقوق خارجی فارین رایت در واقع آژانس ادبی دایره مینا. من قبل از اینکه خانم شارما رو اد بکنم به گفتگومون یه توضیح کوتاهی درباره خودمون، آژانس دایره مینا و اینکه حالا انگیزه ما چی از این در واقع گفتگویی که داریم و یه معرفی کوتاهی به فارسی درباره در واقع خانم شارما خواهم کرد و بعد انشالله ایشون رو اد میکنم و گفتگو رو شروع بکنیم. قبل از اینم که در واقع برم سراغ معرفی، روز جهانی کتاب و حقوق مؤلف رو تبریک میگم خدمت همه دوستان، هم بچه‌های نشری، نویسنده هایی که حالا احتمالاً این لایو رو میبینن، بچه‌های تصویرگر و مترجم و بقیه، و امیدوارم که سال خوب کتابی داشته باشیم، حالا اگرچه شروع سختی بوده. و یه تشکر ویژه هم بکنم از رفقایی که کمک کردن توی اطلاع رسانی این گفتگو که یه بخشش هم واقعا فراتر از انتظار ما بود و لطف رفقا. امیدوارم مفید باشه و استفاده بکنیم هممون. عرض به خدمت شما که آژانس دایره مینا احتمالاً یه بخشتون میشناسید، یه بخشتون هم شاید اولین بار باشه که حالا به واسطه این گفتگو آشنا شدید و اسم ما به گوشتون خورده. ما تقریباً یک سالی میشه که کمتر از یک سالی میشه که کارمون رو شروع کردیم با عنوان آژانس ادبی دایره مینا. اگرچه که بچه‌هایی که توی مجموعه هستن همه سوابق نسبتاً طولانی در 12 ساله و بلکه بیشتر توی صنعت نشر ایران دارن و جاهای مختلفی بودند و شاید اصلا شروع در واقع ایده و استارت ایده دایره مینا به واسطه همین تجربه رفقا و سابقه شون بود، به دلیل اینکه خب ما به واسطه عرض به خدمت شما که سر کله زدن با بخشای مختلف صنعت نشر و حلقه های مختلف این زنجیره یه آسیب شناسی شاید به اندازه خودمون به هر حال داشتیم و فکر می‌کردیم توی بخشایی ضعف وجود داره، از جمله مهمترینش در واقع بخش مارکتینگ و پروموشن کتاب و بخش دیگهش در واقع بخش ارتباطات بین‌المللی و حوزه عرض به خدمت شما که خرید و فروش لایت احتمالاً، که خب ترکیب این دوتا بعد از حال گفتگوهایی که با بچه‌ها داشتیم در واقع مجموعاً در واقع ایده آژانس ادبی در واقع توش بیرون اومد. مجموع خدماتی که ما داریم میدیم در واقع در آژانس دایره مینا، خب مثل در واقع اغلب آژانس‌های ادبی دیگه دنیا که متمرکز بر حقوق خارجی یا فارین رایت هستن، در واقع بحث خرید و فروش لایسنس و پروموت کردن کتاب‌های فارسی در بازارهای خارجی و معرفی کتاب‌های مناسب برای بازار ایران از طرف ناشرین خارجی است. ولی در کنار این خب یه مجموعه دیگری از خدمات وجود داره که شاید به یه معنایی در درجه اهمیت دومه، ولی باز میتونه کمک بکنه در واقع به ارتباط بین‌المللی صنعت نشر ما، مثل در واقع معرفی تصویرگرا و چیزهای شبیه به این، برای اینکه ما بتونیم خدماتی رو که در واقع توش قوت داریم به صنعت نشر بین‌المللی در واقع عرضه بکنیم. تمرکز ما در واقع توی دایره مینا خب حوزه کودک نوجوان، به دلایل مختلف ما در واقع تو حوزه کودک نوجوان صنعت نشر ما قوت داره. ما هم با کودک نوجوان شروع کردیم، اگرچه که خب الان در واقع فضاهای دیگر رو هم کار میکنیم و توی این مدت خب با اینکه فرصت زیادی نبوده، سال سختی رو هم 98 هم 99 گذروندیم، ولی تو در واقع استپ‌های مختلف کارمون هم در جلب اعتماد در واقع صنعت نشر داخلی، هم در حضور بین‌المللی و هم در خرید و فروش موفقیت‌های اتفاق افتاده. مثل اینکه خب ما موفق شدیم و افتخار داشتیم که در واقع نماینده در واقع آقای مستور باشیم برای معرفی آثارشون، آقای امیرخانی، آقای عرض به خدمت شما که داوود امیریان، و با یه سری دیگه از دوستان هم در واقع در حال مذاکره هستیم. توی ناشرین هم خب کان پرورش فکری در واقع باهاشون قرارداد داریم، انتشارات مدرسه، انتشارات نردبان، کتاب‌های در واقع انتشارات فنی ایران و توتی و خب در حال در واقع مذاکره نهایی هستیم با ناشرین بزرگی مثل امیرکبیر و سروش و چشمه و عرض به خدمت شما افق و سوره مهر و بهنشت و بقیه دوستان که خب همش باعث افتخار برای ما. و تو فضای بین‌المللی هم خب ما کارمون رو از نمایشگاه کتاب در واقع باکو شروع کردیم و بعد استانبول و فرانکفورت و بقیه و این کرونا البته باعث شد که ما فرصت حضور در نمایشگاه بولونیا رو با اینکه مهمان در واقع نمایشگاه بودیم و از طرف اونها اصلا دعوت شده بودیم متاسفانه نداشته باشیم. فلوشیپ استانبول هم به همین ترتیب باز ما با اینکه در واقع برای حضور در فلوشیپ پذیرفته شده بودیم در واقع ترکیه اجازه نداد که ما بریم اونجا، ولی به هر حال خب سعی کردیم ارتباطات رو برقرار بکنیم و توی فضای در واقع خرید و فروش به عنوان در واقع اون گل آخری که باید بزنیم هم خدا رو شکر قبل از در واقع عید و در سال 98 تونستیم قرارداد فروش کتاب مشتزن در واقع آقای سید موسوی رو از انتشارات توتی به در واقع دارالحدایق لبنان نهایی بکنیم که اولین قرارداد ما بود. تقریباً کمتر از 4-5 ماه طول کشید برای اینکه ما به این قرارداد برسیم و غیر از اون هم تو حوزه بزرگسال هم فیکشن هم نان فیکشن در واقع الان قراردادایی رو داریم که هم برای خرید هم برای فروش امیدواریم که به زودی به نتیجه برسه اگر که انشالله این فضا اجازه بده. حالا من سریع برم سراغ عرض به خدمت شما موضوع، چون فرصتمون هم زیاد نیست. ببینید ما یه تحلیلی داشتیم و داریم از اتفاقی که داره در واقع تو صنعت نشر میفته و اون همینه که بحران کرونا روی کل این زنجیره داره اثر میذاره و مهمتر از همه در واقع توی حلقه فروش و مارکتینگ به دلیل اینکه خب کتاب فروشی‌ها تحت تأثیر قرار گرفتن و فروشگاه‌ها و این باعث میشه که در واقع جریان نقدینگی ورودش در واقع به بازی کم بشه. لذا فکر می‌کنیم باید در واقع فکر بکنیم و تمرکز بکنیم سولوشن ها رو روی در واقع حوزه فروش و خب تجربه خانم شارما هم در واقع تو همین حوزه هست و ایشون سال‌هاست در واقع تو صنعت نشر فعالن، به ویژه سال‌های اخیر که هم در شرکت IPS و هم قبل از اون در پنگوئن در واقع انگلستان خب ایشون در واقع تمرکزشون رو بحث سلز و مارکتینگ بوده که حالا توی گفتگو دقیق‌تر خواهیم بهش پرداخت. من دستور جلسه رو خیلی خلاصه بخوام بگم، ما ابتدا یک گفتگوی کوتاهی درباره کلیت فضای کاری ایشون و تجربه هاشون در واقع خواهیم کرد به دلیلی که فکر می‌کنیم برای بچه‌های نشری احتمالاً این قسمت کار مفید خواهد بود و بعد در واقع مشخصاً درباره در واقع تأثیرات کرونا حرف خواهیم زد. ببخشید که وقتی که در واقع وارد فاز گفتگو بشیم دیگه امکان ترجمه همزمان وجود نداره، ولی ما سعی داریم که انشالله این در واقع گفتگو رو پیاده بکنیم و متنش رو انشالله در اختیار رسانه‌ها بذاریم. بسیار اگر اجازه بدید من خانم شارما رو اضافه بکنم. So we have you here.
Yeah. Hello, good evening. Sorry, I was not aware that in Dubai also I need to have a VPN to be able to use IG Live. I apologize. I have learned and I have downloaded it. So hello.
So you know we are mostly acquainted with the VPN and I mean these things blockage. So we are one step ahead of you. Okay, how are you?
Clearly.
So how things in Dubai? In the quarantine, lockdown?
It is very interesting because obviously Dubai itself is really strict. We are not allowed to go out of the house without a police permit. We can only go out for about 2 to 3 hours at a time. Things are really strict, but hopefully it means that things will get better soon. Already they're talking about reopening stores and malls in the next few weeks or something. So inshallah, hopefully things will be good soon.
Inshallah. Okay, so I'm glad to see you. It's not that much close like in the IPS office. I hope to see you there too, but something is better than nothing.
Sure.
It's really, I mean, appealing for me to have you here. And thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you very much for asking me.
Thank you. I really hope this conversation goes well and it's useful for all of us. So, okay, so first let me explain about the situation, and what makes us to put this issue on the table, the book marketing. And then we will, go to the questions. So, it's in time of crisis, it's not easy to figure out what the situation is, and if someone can have a, quite accurate, assessment of what's going on, it's a kind of success itself. But, and the pace of things are so rapid, and we just so quickly go to our homes and lock down, and then the whole industry is, and I'm surprised. The bookstores are closed, the publishing houses are, they don't know what to do with the new situation. But gradually, I think that all of us, try to find some solutions. And there is a difference between these crises. Against the other, similar crisis. It's a kind of global crisis. So we are all in the same boat. We face with a quite similar crisis. So we think that the solutions in different ecosystems can be adopted into each other. In Iran or elsewhere. So there is a explanation for this conversation. And why we think that the book marketing is the main issue here. The crisis, the corona crisis is, tackled the whole chain of the publishing industry, the whole value chain of the publishing industry, from the production to retails. And when the crisis, this huge, we must solve the problem of the retailers to help all of them. We cannot go to the steps before retail, because when you solve the problem, when you help, for example, writers, when you help publishing houses, without paying attention to what the marketing and sales do, then you just postpone the problem. It's come back again and again. So we think that the marketing is the main issue to face the problem. And so it is, because it's the basis for our conversation, and it is the importance of marketing for tackling down the corona crisis. But before going to what exactly you think or you do to face the problem, as the book marketing and promotion in Iran is, somehow it's not existed here. We don't have marketing agencies, book marketing agencies. We don't have promotional companies who help publishers, distributors, and booksellers to sell more books. First, I want you to explain about this profession. The profession of marketing books and the profession of helping the retailers to do better. So please go on. Start with the regular work of the marketing agencies and sales managers in professional industries, in professional ecosystems, and then we go to the corona time what you do then, and etc. Okay.
Sure. First of all, hello everybody. The role of book marketing is very unique because it is a bridge between publishing and retail. Now, for this bridge to operate properly, what we have to understand is we have to know exactly what a book is all about. And then we know which market it will sell in. We can talk to her about, we can talk to the markets about what they want. We can talk to the markets about what will sell. And it is also helpful in understanding price points. So, for example, how much is a market ready to buy a book? If you go into a market which is not very completely fully formed, and you try to sell books that are above, let's say, $100, it will not sell. So you need to. So a marketing agency helps in understanding the value of a market, the pocket sizes of a market, and the actual depth of the market. Now that is why, a marketing agency can help a retailer do special promos, special offers, and it can also help the publisher saying that, okay, you can do a print run of, let's say, 10,000 copies or 20,000 copies, depending on what they estimate they will be able to sell to the retailer. So it's the marketing team is actually really important in the ecosystem of publishing. Now, in times like this, where the situation is unprecedented, where nobody has any idea what is happening, everybody is working from home, nobody knows what the production is going to be like, nobody knows if the books have to be stopped from producing, if stores are going to be open or not. There's so many things that are completely unknown. The only thing that we know is that people are buying books. Thankfully, people are sitting inside at home and they are reading. Thank God for that. This is actually a good time for a lot of people to catch up on books that they haven't read. It's time for a lot of people to write books that they want to write. So I'm hoping there's a lot of good books that are going to come out at the end of this. But the role of a marketing agent at this time is very unique because they have to understand what people are going to buy, not based on current trends, but they are going to buy based on what their heart wants. So it's going to be books either that are comforting, books that are, nicer books rather than crime and mystery and stuff like that, which is what I think is going to happen. So you have to understand. So marketing helps in understanding the trends that might happen. So right now we are focusing on those kind of books. But the problem comes in about how do you get the books to the readers? If the distribution lines are not working, if the production lines might stop working, if the safety of people getting the books is the problem. So, of course, in more developed ecosystems such as America or the UK, or in fact even Dubai, the people can, deliveries are happening, books, online stores are available, everything is fine. But what about smaller markets where people might not have access to websites or stuff like that? And how do they actually get the books? That's where the marketing teams come in. Marketing is the ones that help retailers get their books on time, so that even if they don't have fully fledged websites, maybe they can use Instagram, they can use social media to reach readers. And that's when we have to create unique promotions for such kind of activities for retailers, where we have to work with publishers to make them understand how to support smaller bookstores that don't have like the advantages of the chain bookstores, the family run bookstores. So that's where the marketing comes in at this time.
Okay, I wonder what is, how marketing agencies in the book industry connected with the publishing houses, with the distributors, and with the retailers. There are some book marketers in the Iranian, book ecosystem, but there are in-house, marketers. They are in publishing houses, do some Instagram job, do some, promotional job. They do some book launching. But when the role of book marketing become an independent entity in the industry, it is quite interesting for me to know how these rules connected to each other. Do you have some constant connection, constant communication with these other players of the market?
I think as a publishing ecosystem, you have to be connected with every part of the ecosystem. You cannot be separate. Everybody, as far as my earlier role in Penguin Random House, obviously bigger publishers have their own marketing teams, in huge teams. I know Penguin Random House itself has a team of over 75 people who just do marketing. But it's smaller publishers, who cannot afford their own marketing teams, who cannot have in-house promotional material and stuff like that, who need independent marketers. Now, who can come up and they work with 4 or 5 different publishers, and they have so that way they have something to give every retailer. So, it's the way any industry works. There'll be, for example, in construction, there's somebody who creates cranes and somebody who creates scaffolding, and everybody works with each other. Everybody knows everybody, and that's how you build the economy. In publishing, because every retailer wants special treatment and every publisher wants special treatment, but obviously not every publisher can give every retailer special treatment. So that's where the marketing teams come in, where you have an outside marketing company, and the publisher says, okay, these are the retailers I want you to handle. The retailer comes and tells the marketing company, these are the publishers I want to get, and that's how everybody stays in contact with each other. Mm-hmm.
So actually, a marketing agency act as a connection between the retailers and the publishers. Am I right?
Yes.
So when a publisher wants to launch a book, they inform you that we have a new book. The genre, the synopsis, blah blah blah, and then you get the book. You design a campaign and try to sell it to the market through retailers, or is this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, for example, the publishers I work with, they will come and tell me about a certain book that's coming out, and they're saying that, okay, we think it will do very well in your market. So I will then focus on the particular retailers that it will do well for. So not every book will work for every retailer. For example, if it's a children's book, then it will only work for bookstores or distributors that have a children's book outlook. And those children's books outlets will not necessarily be interested in coffee table or literary. So every publisher and every retailer will not want every book. So you have to pick and choose, and that's where the marketing team comes in. They help the publishers in knowing which retailers to focus on for what. So it depends on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go to the Corona part of the conversation. And what is the impact of the situation on your daily routine work? You work from home, as I know, and I want to know what a book marketer do from home, and what can you do from home? Designing campaigns, trying to sell books. What would it be like to doing marketing from home?
Well, nowadays, most of my time, honestly, is spent on Zoom meetings. I'm doing a lot of Zoom meetings with my customers. Fortunately, my customers are from all over the Middle East. So I will have Zoom meetings with Lebanon, Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain. And so I get to travel a lot within a single day, which is great. I get to talk to them about what's happening in their markets, what they think is going to happen, what their trends are, what are their issues they're facing. So it's a good way to kind of just keep in touch with what is happening in around me. Also, I am helping a lot of retailers who are trying to set up online systems for themselves. Because obviously we can see there's a big shift in not only schools that are doing online learning and distance learning for kids, and also universities that are doing online and distance learning. And so a lot of libraries want digital support, a lot of schools want digital support. But beyond that, like I said, a lot of people want to buy books, and not a lot. Apart from the major, like cities like Dubai and maybe even UAE for that matter, and Saudi to a certain point, Kuwait and Bahrain, other countries are not as forward when it comes to online distribution of books or online buying of books. So a lot of, like for example, a customer in Jordan is trying to set up a website right now. So I'm trying to guide him about what is the definite bestseller books that he must have when he first starts his website. What are the kinds of books, what are the genres of books he should have? So that's the kind of work that I'm kind of doing right now, is helping people, supporting them, and making sure that once things do calm down, they have the right stock with them so that they can get their business going.
Mm-hmm. So you do also sales pitching online and through, Zoom, Skype, or is it?
It's all sales. It's all sales and marketing. I'm either talking to my publishers in US and UK, or I'm talking to my customers. So on one side, I'm trying to tell them, okay, this is what is happening, and updating them about the status of what's happening here. And I'm trying to also get information about production schedule. A lot of books have been put on hold. A lot of production has been put on hold. So a lot of distribution is going to be affected as well. So, obviously not everybody has kept their ports open. And while I'm on this subject, I want to say one thing, is that the governments around the world need to understand that books are essential. And today is World Book Day. And if everybody, can please talk about how books are essential and they should be a part of the essential services, then I think that's the most important thing, because people think it's just a hobby, but books are very important, not only for children, but also for adults. And we need to make sure that the distribution is allowed for books, that people are allowed to get access to books. And because this might mean that a child loses a whole year of education. This might mean that a person doesn't have access to important information, and it's not fair. So that's what I'm working on. I'm making sure that everybody has access to all the information about the newest books that we are releasing, that everybody has access to the backlist bestseller books, and that I'm also trying to work with the distribution teams and making sure that the orders are happening and processing not on time. There is a lot of delays, but hopefully things will come back on track soon.
So, since the start of the Corona, is there, I mean, do you notice any pattern in which categories decline? I mean, the book categories, or which categories thrive? I mean, is there any meaningful pattern? I mean, people buying more kind of this book than that? I mean, is there anything to mention?
Well, I think what I have seen and what a lot of my customers are asking for are self-help books. A lot of, self-learning, a lot about books about personal motivation, and also a lot of activity books for children. I think a lot of parents are sick of their kids and they really want to have some kind of activity books that they can just give the child and be like, just go do that, leave me alone, and just give me some time to myself. So I think these are two genres that I think everybody has been asking about. The one that I think has the least uptake is crime and mystery. So a lot of my customers have told me that they don't want to buy any crime books at all. I think we have enough excitement in our life already. So I think nobody wants any more excitement. I think it's just right now it's the demand is more for self-help and for happy books. So lots of light romantic fiction. I think these are the two major interest areas as far as I can see. A lot of children's books, obviously. Children's books are obviously a lot in demand. I think, like I said, a lot of parents are stuck with their kids, and there's a lot of time on hand that because the children can't even go outside to play, so they're all stuck at home. So any kind of activity books, fiction books, a lot of classics, a lot of children's classics that are in demand right now.
Okay, before going to the second part, which I want you to talk about the business of, agencies, literary agencies and rights management. Before going there, I want to ask you about, is there any measures which the UAE government take to help the book industry? Giving them some reliefs or some debts, anything else?
Not that I know of right now, but I'm hopeful that with the I think I'm hearing things about like a few book fairs going virtual. So I haven't heard anything confirmed as of yet, but I will keep you updated about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. This is the World Book and Copyright Day. So the second part is the copyright, and you are also involved in the business of agencies, as there is, two companies which both of them you are, fully involved. And I want you to explain us about what impact does Corona on the business of agencies. There is a lot of cancelled events, so this makes the things hard for the literary agents. But I want you to explain your experience and what you do to face the problem.
Yes, obviously we both know that the London Book Fair and Bologna Book Fair got cancelled, and I don't Bologna initially was just postponed, but now it's been cancelled altogether. Now that kind of thing is a very big setback for smaller agencies such as ourselves, because for bigger agencies, they have direct access to editors around the world. So no big deal. They can just send an email, say that, okay, fine, this is our latest author, no problem. For smaller agencies, especially in agencies such as, that are based in the Middle East, where people anyway don't listen to us. So when you have a opportunity such as the Bologna Book Fair or the London Book Fair, and we when we can't access all those agents, we can't access all those editors, it is definitely a big blow. And now we can only wait for Frankfurt Book. And since both of these fairs were cancelled, the Frankfurt Book Fair, there will be a lot of people going to meet the same people. So there will be a lot of, we won't have as much time to play with as they will. So it's very hard to kind of make these connections and make these kind of links that we need to make to keep our business, to showcase the kind of authors we have. We come from, even though these are English speaking authors or English writing authors, it's still a niche audience because they're coming from the Middle East. So automatically they get looped in, these are not mainstream. And that's not fair. And so we already have to fight against that drawback. For authors that do not write in English, there's an additional level of problems and obstacles that they have to go through. So with this virus, I think the agency business is going to be very, very hugely affected. However, I'm trying to see the positive side. The positive side is that this means that we have some time to focus on certain authors that we really want to work with. We can focus on the agencies that we wish to contact. We can focus on the editors we want to contact and make specified pitches and make specified sales promotions for those authors, for those editors, and hopefully go in before Frankfurt with a very, very focused approach and make sure that we are heard. So that is all I can hope for, and that is what I am aiming to.
Okay, so the previous experience of your, the career is in the Penguin Random House UK, and I think that there is a huge difference between that big publishing houses. It is one of the big five, and the other regular publishing houses, small and medium. And it is quite interesting for me to know what is the structure of these big publishing houses. How do they deal with their personals, with the book launching, with how do they decide which book choose to publish? And it is, for us, it's like a black box. We don't go through big publishing houses. So please shed a light on the Penguin Random House UK.
Okay, I was a very tiny part of Penguin Random House, but Penguin Random House has got over 25 different imprints. The major ones of them, of course, are Vintage and Michael Joseph, and of course the Puffin, which is the huge big Penguin children's group as well. So these are different imprints under which the publishing happens. So every imprint has its own editorial staff. Every editorial group has its own commissioning editorial staff. So there is at least 5 commissioning editors in Michael Joseph, for example, that will go out and look for books that are just for Michael Joseph. Now, Michael Joseph publishes books like the Jamie Oliver book, then the cookbooks and big crime books and big fiction titles. That all comes under Michael Joseph. Now, they know, the commissioning editors know exactly what they're looking for. They know what kind of books they want to publish. And once they have decided on a few manuscripts, then those manuscripts are sent to the chief editor at Michael Joseph. the chief editor will pick out certain manuscripts from that, and then those manuscripts will be circulated within the top sales people across the world. I used to get some of those manuscripts. I miss getting those manuscripts because those were fantastic. And obviously I don't have access to that anymore. But when you get those manuscripts, you are asked 5 questions. Number 1, whether you like it. Number 2, do you think it will sell in your market? Number 3, if you think it will sell, how much do you think it will sell? Number 4, if you think it will not sell, why will it not sell? And number 5, if you could change anything, what would you change? So you have to go through the manuscript, and this is a voluntary exercise. It's not that everybody who is sent the manuscript has to do it if you want to do it. Unfortunately, I am a very big book nerd, so I took each manuscript as an exam, and so I had to read everything. I think most of the editors got sick of me by the end, and they were like, "We don't want to know what you think." But I used to reply to most of the manuscripts. I don't read a lot of self-help, so I never read the business and self-help books. I must say, I only read the fiction, but that is part of the exercise. So the children's team is the only one that does not send out manuscripts. The Penguin children's team is a fully functional publishing house in itself. They don't care about what you think. They know their product is amazing. And considering the kind of books they come out with, I think the world agrees that the Penguin children's publishing is one of the best in the world. I don't think anybody compares to the kind of children's publishing they do, compared going from Roald Dahl to Wimpy Kid to the classics to everything. I mean, they are fantastic. So they never used to ask us for approval. They never used to tell us, but most of the others, they did. There are a lot of books that I remember reading the manuscripts, and now they've become bestsellers. So, it's very incredible to be a kind of part of that journey. And this, I think, happens in only the biggest publishing houses where they actually do ask internally. With the smaller publishing houses, they basically do a focus group where they invite, nowadays they send out the books to influencers, and they send it out to bookstagram, people. So, and ask them for their opinion. But now, I think the bigger houses are keeping things more and more internal because they don't want the story to get leaked. They don't want people to find out about the book. So everything is very secretive. So that's part of how the book comes alive in a big publishing house. The marketing side that happens after the book has been approved is also a very incredible kind of system, because from the book's acceptance to the launch, and the steps that go in it, where how the author gets involved, how the cover is created, how the book is sent to another author to get reviewed. So you can have like a like the blurb that you have when another author says something good about the book, or they say a nice line about the book, or they get a review of the book. So that part, so how they choose the other author who will write on it. So all of that is, a very interesting process where, all of us are asked, who do you think the author reminds you of? And then that author will be sent the book to review. So it's a lot of these kind of special moments and special marketing campaigns that happen around it. What do you think should be a good gift that can be given with the book? What do you think? Where do you think the launch should happen? So it's every book has got its own ecosystem around it. But then they can afford to do that because they have the money, they have the people, they have the time. Not all publishing houses can do that.
And for the marketing part, in the Penguin, is there a centralized marketing team which design everything? The promotional materials, what is the campaign is going to be like, and then you, for example, as the sales manager in the Middle East, do what they write fully, designed before, or is you that, are you involved in the designing of the campaigns? Marketing campaigns, promotionals?
Oh yeah, of course. Because not all marketing campaigns will work over here in the Middle East. Because so every imprint has their own marketing team, but all those marketing teams think in terms of the UK or the US. So, for example, they will say they're going to spend a lot of money on ads in the metro. Now, there's no point me asking for money for ads in the metro here or anywhere in the Middle East. There's no point. There is more. I would have more use of that kind of budget if I did a giveaway in a store where I said, okay, fine, if you buy this book, you will get a pencil for free, or you'll get, if it's a children's book, then you'll have a coloring pencil, or you'll have something like a gift. I would sell more books if I had something as a giveaway rather than ad, because over here the ad space is, you can't really determine that something is going to have a great ad space. We don't know, but having an actual gift with purchase has got more value. So we create marketing campaigns. We used to create our own marketing campaigns. We used to work with the marketing team to find out which book to focus on, and then base the marketing campaign around that. Now, for example, Wimpy Kid is a good example. I'll just use that one, because obviously Wimpy Kid, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, they used to have two releases. There used to be a hardback release in November, and in the next year, in June, there would be a paperback release. Now, for both of these releases, every sales manager was given a budget. That this is the money you can spend. You can decide what you want to spend it on. So in the UK, they would use big Waterstone billboards in Hyde Park and things like that. Number one, I can't afford that kind of. We didn't get that kind of budget. Number two, we don't have a Hyde Park over here, so the more I would have to find somewhere or stand somewhere in a corner holding a board up saying "Diary of a Wimpy." So I used my budget during the Sharjah Book Fair. So during the Sharjah Book Fair, I did an exclusive promotion with one of the retailers that was having a stand, and I gave them 1 year. I gave them bags. 1 year I gave them small booklets. 1 year something or the other which I would get produced locally in Dubai, and I would give as a giveaway. I have also done it in Tehran actually, where we had done a giveaway with Book City. And so these are things that we've done with stores around the Middle East, where we used our budget to help our retailers and to understand what would work for the retailer rather than what the publisher thought he should. We have
so there is a budget. There's a budget and there's a target, and you decide how to spend it to get there. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So let me check. Is there any question? They asked about which category of books sold more. So you said self-help, children books, and not horror. Not thriller?
Too much thrill in our life now.
Okay, so let me ask the final question. As I said, there is no question in the comments except that one. So you visited Tehran 2 times or 1 time?
2 times.
2 times. And you have some connections and some experiences, work with the Iranian publishing houses, authors. And I wanted you to explain about, your idea about the Iranian book industry. What do you think about it? What are the potentials? Where, for example, we as a literary agency based in Tehran, which part do we must focus and things like this? I want you to talk about Iranian market. What do you think about it?
From what I understand, there is a lot of potential in the Iranian market, because there's a huge generation of people that are not only very educated, but are also very curious about the world. And there is obviously a lot of people are moving away from Iran because of all of the issues that are happening. But there are a lot of people who are in Iran and who are very educated and who want to learn and want to see and want to experience everything. And it is very essential that they get access to the literature from around the world, and that their literature gets a chance to be accessible to the whole world as well. So there has to be a give and take of understanding, of knowledge, and that's the biggest problem I think that Iran is facing, is that they're not able to access other people, and other people are not able to access their work. So, for example, I've had these conversations with your team member and my friend Pani's, who I'm going to mention because I'm sure she's there and listening somewhere. I've spoken to her many times about this, because she talks about all of these books that she's very passionate about, and I don't know about them because obviously they are not in English and they've not been translated, and I feel like it's very unfair that such great books that she's so passionate about are not available for the world to see. And the same way, a lot of Iranians don't get access to literature from the world because of all the various sanctions. So even though publishers want to sell the books to you, they just cannot sell the book to you because there is no way for you to pay them to sell it. And it's just so very frustrating as a marketer, as a salesperson, and as a person who loves books, that it just really upsets me that an entire country of people cannot get access to simple books. Now, it's just like, for example, recently I remember having this conversation where we were trying to source some books from one of our publishers, and they're like, no, we can't sell it. It's in Iran, so can't sell it. It makes no sense. Iran has the money, they want to buy it, and books should not be part of sanctions. It's just really unfair. And that's why I keep saying that books are essential. Books cannot be sanctioned. Books should not be under any kind of political protocol. They have to be considered free. And reading should be free, knowledge should be free, and it's not fair that it's not. I really am very passionate about bringing good books to Iran, and I'm very passionate about taking good books from Iran to the world. And inshallah, hopefully we can work together and make that happen.
Yeah, inshallah. Okay. I asked almost all of my questions. Let me check. Yes. And is there anything, you want to tell us, about the corona, about the post-corona, anything?
Well, I just want to say that people should keep reading. Please, please support your local bookstores. please, I know that, it's very easy to buy pirated books or, offset books, but please support publishers, because that's why, that's how we can make things change. That's how we can actually show the world that Iran's economy should not be, put down, that Iran's economy deserves access to great literature from around the world. So go out there, talk to your bookstores, ask them for more books, and make it happen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for joining us, and I hope we could meet you soon at Dubai or in Tehran.
I will come to Tehran. No problem. I'm very happy.
So you don't afraid of Corona in Iran?
No, absolutely. It's fine. I have to die sometime.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.